When it comes to buying the right products, there's a lot to look out for. That's why today, we've picked and reviewed the 5 best models for you. And we've ranked them by many different factors, such as price, quality, durability, performance, and more. You can see their prices and find out more information by using the links in the description down below. Let's not waste any more time and get started with the video. We are going to start this list with the best budget option that you can get your hands on.
Number 5. Sony STRDHS90. There's no denying that 4K and HDR have changed the way we absorb our media. The higher resolution makes our viewing experience more immersive than ever before, but it takes 2 medias to tango. What is the point of watching amazing video if you don't have amazing audio to go with it? We for one are taking a stand. Everybody grab a partner and a picket sign and take to the streets. We have a feeling Bernie Sanders is going to have a new cause in 2020. We recently had the chance to take a look at the new Sony STRDHS90 AV receiver. Sony's newest entry to their line of audio-visual receivers boasts an impressive line of features, including 5.2 multi-channel surround sound, 4K HDR pass-through, Dolby Vision imaging technology, and Bluetooth connectivity. The STRDHS90 is Sony's mid-end receiver, fitting comfortably between the lower-end model, the STRDHS190, and their pricier option, the STRDN1080. The most important feature to note here is the STRDHS90's direct 4K and HDR pass-through, a feature which will allow people with high dynamic range compatible TVs and media to experience the HDR video without sacrificing video quality due to multiple adaptations. When we compare this receiver to a receiver which does not feature HDR pass-through, there was a very significant difference. The STRDHS90 provides 5.2 multi-channel surround sound with 145 watts per channel. Because of the additional subwoofer output provided by the 5.2 system, the richness of the audio is enhanced with double the rumble. 5.2 channel sound provides in general a more cinematic experience than that of a 5.1 channel system. The 5-speaker setup is the same, but the ability to integrate an extra subwoofer creates that deep rumble that only theatrical speakers can provide. The STRDHS90 also features Bluetooth connectivity, which allows you to wirelessly stream audio directly through the audio-visual receiver. If you're the kind of guy or gal that prefers to have their EQ settings preset, the STRDHS90 has a bunch of intuitively designed ambient reverb preset options which should be satisfying for most tastes. There's something about the STRDHS90 that feels very complete. It's abundantly clear that Sony has put a lot of time and effort into making this receiver an extremely versatile device. The STRDHS90's combination of value and feature strength makes Sony's AVR one of the most desirable and practical pieces of audio equipment on the market.
Next up, we have a model which gives you the best value for your money.
Number 4. Denon AUR-S6SOH. The AUR-S6SOH is a simple 5.2 channel receiver with standard channel-based surround decoding on board, while the AUR-S750H and AUR-S950H are 7.2 channel receivers with more inputs, more power, and the ability to decode Dolby Atmos and DTS-X soundtracks. All 3 of the new S-Series offerings work with Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, and Apple Siri voice assistant for hands-free operation. Of the 3, Alexa is the most capable here, giving users the ability to switch inputs and adjust various settings. Google Assistant and Siri are currently limited to adjusting volume and skipping tracks. All 3 S-Series receivers also support several new HDMI features from the latest HDMI 2.1 specification, including Auto Low Latency Mode or ALLM for gaming, and Enhanced Audio Return Channel EARC functionality, which enables the transmission of uncompressed and immersive audio soundtracks directly from the TV to the receiver via the connected HDMI cable. The AUR-S750H and AUR-S950H will also have a new feature called Dolby Atmos Height Virtualization, coming via a future firmware update, which creates virtual height effects for Dolby soundtracks without the use of additional height speakers. DTS soundtracks are given similar treatment by a technology called DTS Virtual X. Both of these applications are designed to enable a traditional 5.1 or 7.1 channel speaker arrangement to mimic the immersive sound typically provided by more complex setups with in-ceiling speakers. User-friendly setup and a simple user interface are both of great importance to the success of any entry-level AV product meant for regular people rather than for hardcore enthusiasts. To that end, the S-Series receivers all feature Audacey's suite of EQ calibration technology for simple, accurate setup. Those users who do want to deep dive into audio settings can use the Audyssey Multi-EQ Editor app purchased separately to customize their room EQ curves. The receivers can also be operated using free remote apps for iOS and Android mobile devices. With its new S-Series receivers, Denon looks to continue its tradition of offering maximum home entertainment value for the smallest possible price.
If you're looking for a mid-range model, then this next pick is a great option.
Number 3. Yamaha RX-V685. Yamaha's been in the AV receivers business for many years now, having produced some amazing models, and have surely created a name for themselves in this regard. But competition in the mainstream AV receivers market is fierce, and to stay on top you need to be able to offer the complete package that combines not only good quality and great performance, but competitive cost as well. And while Yamaha always had very high standards as far as quality is concerned, they fell a bit behind with their pricing strategies. So in today's Yamaha RX-V685 review, we'll be testing the top model in their RX-V series to determine if it has what it takes to face the middle-class competition. The Yamaha RX-V685 is an example of an excellent upper mid-fi AVR that comes loaded with some of the latest and most compelling features while managing to hold on to the company's traditional high-end feel, even at what we consider to be a value price point. For the price, the RX-V685 has a nice powerful amp section rated at 105 watts, 8 ohms, 0.9% THD at 1 kHz, 2-channel driven, 2 HDMI audio outputs and 2 subwoofer outputs. The receiver offers a second zone for listening in locations outside the main zone. Also offered is a 12-volt trigger for more ambitious home installations. It also offers distributing music wirelessly throughout the house to MusicCast-compatible speakers and system components. Streaming support also extends to access some of the most popular streaming music platforms including Spotify, Pandora, Deezer and Tidal. In the end, if you're looking for a 7.2-channel Dolby Atmos-enabled AV receiver for a small to medium-sized room, the Yamaha RX-V685 is a serious contender, as you'll get a unit that features Yamaha's quality and performance, and enough features that'll cover all your needs for a middle-class system.
Before we talk about the best model overall, let's look at the runner-up for this list.
Number 2. Denon AUR-S6SOH. The Denon AUR-S6SOH receiver is a handsome-looking product with a good build quality. Even though it's a feature-laden receiver, it maintains a front panel that does not look busy. A good-sized LCD occupies the front panel landscape with 2 round knobs on its side and a series of rectangular push-button selectors right underneath the display. The left round knob, when viewed from the front, is a rotary input source selector, while the right knob is the master volume control. The rectangular push buttons are for various functions: tuner preset up and down channels, zone 2 controls, display dimmer controls and some quick input select buttons. The power on or standby button is located right below the input source selector knob. The front panel also sports HDMI and USB inputs and provides a headphone jack as well as a setup microphone input. The white display is dimmable and provides sufficient information on the operational state of the receiver. The main information on the sound processing format and selected input are thoughtfully shown in big lettering, which is readable from a seating position of about 8 to 9 feet from the receiver. The HDMI connections in the AVR-X3600H supports EARC, Enhanced Audio Return Channel, HDCP 2.3 and up to 4K 60Hz video format compatible with Dolby Vision as well as HDR10. HDMI pass-through feature in standby mode is also supported. The AVR-X3600H is also capable of upscaling SD and HD video to 4K Ultra HD with its powerful video engine. Setting up the Denon AVR-X3600H is relatively easy and straightforward. After making all the device connections, one can just plug in the supplied calibration microphone to the front panel microphone input and run the Audyssey Multi-EQ XT32 calibration and optimization feature, guided by its step-by-step instructions on the connected monitor. About 15 minutes is all it takes to get everything calibrated and optimized for the room. The Denon AVR-X3600H is a mid-priced AV receiver that has a lot to offer and is easy to like. It deserves respect not only because it's loaded with state-of-the-art features, but also because of its all-round strong audio and video performances.
Finally, the next model is the best overall. From us, it gets a perfect score in all categories.
Number 1. Marantz NR1609. The Marantz NR1609 is the higher level model of the company's two slimline networked receivers. This one is essentially a full-blown 7.1 channel AV receiver in all respects, except for a slightly reduced power output. The main visual difference is the height. It stands just 105mm tall, or a little over 4 inches. The 7 amps produce 50 watts each and can be switched to support 4-ohm speakers for all channels. The surround and height systems of Dolby Atmos, DTS-X, Dolby Surround and DTS Neural X are all supported in 5.1.2 mode. That is, you can choose between 7 head-level speakers or 5 plus 2 overhead. There are 8 HDMI inputs, including 1 on the front panel. There's full Ultra HD support on them all, along with video upscaling. Since last year's version, we see further evidence for the resurgence of vinyl, and this receiver now also has a phono input moving magnet. This is a network receiver with an Ethernet socket along with dual-band 802.11n Wi-Fi, plus there's Bluetooth, albeit limited to the standard SBC audio codec. It's tempting to say that a 50-watt per channel receiver might not be able to deliver the goods in extremes, and that may even be true depending on the speakers you're using, but the fact is we installed this receiver in the place of a 150-watt 9-channel unit, simply plugging in the same speakers, minus the ceiling ones, and we'd be hard put to identify any real difference in performance. Marantz home theatre receivers have support for the HEOS multi-room system built in. Recently, the HEOS system was upgraded so it can be controlled by the Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant systems. These are works in progress. You can expect their capabilities to be extended over time. If there's one thing we've learned over the last couple of decades, it's that this new tech stuff either improves markedly as time goes on, or it's dropped completely. We reckon at least one of Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa is here to stay. The 6.35mm socket on the front panel really seems inviting for a quality pair of headphones, but how it sounds is going to depend very much on the headphones you use. We should mention that we're not picking on Marantz especially here. This seems to be an affliction of most comparable companies. The problem is that the headphone output has an internal resistance of 468 ohms. The Marantz NR1609 receiver is an excellent all-round entertainer in a nicely compact form. Buying guide. Connections. There's no such thing as too many inputs or outputs. A big reason why? All the stuff that's coming. New devices, new gadgets, new ways of doing things. It's the future and you're going to want to be part of it. Plus, you want to make sure you can connect to everything you have now. Look for a minimum of 4 HDMI inputs so you can connect a cable box, a Blu-ray player, a PlayStation, and at least one more input for future expansion. Add an Apple TV or Roku to that last mix and boom, you're already using all 4. Planning to connect to a turntable? Be sure to look for a phono input. Built-in Wi-Fi. Ideally, everyone would hardwire, physically plug in their TV to their home network, but that's not always possible, especially if you live in an apartment and can't run wires through walls. That's where Wi-Fi saves the day. Allowing all the smart functions new TVs have for streaming movies, watching YouTube, etc. to work wirelessly through your network. We're beginning to see Wi-Fi built into audio systems for the same reason, so you can, for instance, stream music without having to physically connect your sound system to your router. Power. Home theatre receivers have built-in multi-channel amplifiers to power a full complement of surround sound speakers. How much power do you need? The ideal wattage for your receiver depends on the size of your room and the power requirements of your speakers. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you found it helpful, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. If you have any questions related to these products, you can leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.